Yeah. So please, I want to invite on stage Katrīna, Heiki, Regina, Klaudijus, Dušan. Please come, and we will have some discussion. Yeah. And it was nice to listen for all the presentations. There's so many interesting things and questions for me to arise, and I think I would like to start our discussion maybe on the most important topics for you today or this year. So my question is, what are the main topics or questions you are working, you are living by the means of the main industry? So for you or for your registry or for your registrar, and I don't know, maybe Claudius can start.
Yeah, so I think for us at the moment, we are not saying that we are working that much on it, but it's definitely on our minds, as I mentioned, is to all the regulations that are coming into place, because as I said, we have a global presence, and we already see that the countries interpret the same law differently, and that's really worries us, and we are following that closely, and we are looking forward to what the laws in each country will bring, and of course we will have to adapt all of our registration flows to comply with that. So I think this is the main topic, apart from all the data business, which is unique this year.
So in our case, of course, we work with NIS2 also, but as I said in my presentation, that now in registry side we are ready, and the next step in this field we start to support registrars, Estonian ones, and of course all the other who will and want to do it, how to manage and in very concrete technical solutions and help it. It's one of the things that we're doing that to improve registration and growth, of course, is that we closely watch what are doing the startups and, let's say, these enterprises who begin his life circle. And we have even agreement with our business registry that we get one new field. If you start to register your company, then you have new field that what kind of domain .ee you want, and it's very probably it's in the autumn we get it in live, and it's one thing that we are doing. And of course, all these different services, we would want to do everything that the war is stopping in Ukraine. Then we know that economic is going to better, and then again, in Eastern Europe market, I think we have space to grow, all of us, and that's why it's one of the main influencers just now, of course. But yeah, these are same things what I mentioned.
Yes, thank you, Heiki, and thank you for raising that. Of course, when knowing that there's a horrible war going on in the heart of Europe, it's well, everything else just pales in comparison. But if we talk about things that we need to do at the registry, and there are too many of them, probably the most important thing would be to prioritize. Again, as we had our list of priorities, but after the war started, we had to review the list of priorities, and many things well, had to be pushed higher up on that list. But getting back to the daily business, what we see now that, well, and we knew that, we do not have a double letter like .ee, and we don't have a big country like Lithuania where they get many registrations. And we see that for bigger registrars, .lv is not that interesting. They have their own issues, and as Klaudijus just said, they have to implement NIS2, and there are so many different ways that has been implemented by member states. So we know that we won't be on the priority list of our bigger registrars, which means that we have to first think about our local registrars who would be more interested in working with us. That's one thing. And another thing is that we have to make sure that the processes that we currently have are simplified. Therefore, I really liked the way you spoke about .ee, Heiki, because yes, not everything has to be as complicated as NIS2, for example, right? We need to think about our processes, how to make them simpler, how to make the system that we have for our customers, how to make it easier to use and more comfortable for users so that they can use their ID and domain names to use them as login names. Yeah, thank you.
So for me, it's a question from which hat should I answer. So there is a different answer. So let me do a retrospective. Like I'm just came back from Kigali, Rwanda. It was ICANN meeting there, and if you saw the walking passage to the ICANN meeting, there was 3 flags raised there, which means those 3 topics are main for ICANN. One of them is Africa Coalition, which is normal, something that ICANN is doing for Africa, and the meeting was in Africa, so it's understandable. Second flag was universal acceptance, which I don't know whether you have in your language. In Serbian language, we don't have proper translation for that. It means universal acceptance is accepting IDNs, but also new GTLDs and new GTLDs IDNs. So on every single computer and every single platform. So it means a little bit more than IDNs. And I was thinking, why now universal acceptance is raised? And the third flag is the answer. There is a new GTLD round. So ICANN will soon open a new GTLD round, which raised the flag about universal acceptance, because the major buyers of new GTLDs are mostly from Asia, China, India, or whatever. So they would like to have proper new GTLDs on their own scripts. This is one level. Second level, as a Gransy and as a ICANN accredited registrar, I can say that we are currently doing RSP check. RSP is registry service provider, so most of you are having some of your own software for registries. We are provider of such registry. ICANN will open also round for accreditation for RSPs. So we are considering that that round in Gransy. Also, we are expanding DNS Anycast network. So we have more than 35 CCTLDs and new GTLDs on our DNS Anycast network. If I'm speaking as a Serbian registry, I would be more in line with colleagues from registries. So I would say that we will adapt our rules and regulations about registration of domain names in a sense that although we are not part of European Union, and we don't care about NIS2 or DSA or DMA or whatever you are adopting in Europe. Some copy-pasting of that laws will be in local legislation, so we are expecting something similar to have in our country. So we are preparing new rules and regulations. Also simplifying the registration. I don't see that is the task because a couple of those laws are not simplifying but rather complicating the system of registration, but this is for another topic. So and if I'm speaking from the head of SEEDIG, I just want to say that we are preparing our meeting for November, so you are all invited. That's it.
For URET, we have some, let's say, specific challenges and then also some which are very common with our CCTLDs. The specific one arises from the fact that we are one of the few lucky ones, if not the only one, who has own piece of European legislation. We have our own regulation. We have also a contract with the European Commission full of contractual obligations, and basically our list of things to be fulfilled till the next round of the call for tender is rather a thick book than a list. So we have to make sure that we are compliant and we fulfill all the obligations. So upgrade or modernization of the system to manage this was and is still one of our main tasks, like to put to introduce new tools to follow on the tasks and deadlines, and like this we introduced, for example, the OKR system, which is quite familiar to some of you. So this is one field, let's say, and then otherwise what already was mentioned, when we will have our Registrar Advisory Board meeting next week, and when we ask them for the agenda points, you can guess what was like the most voted one, NIS2, not surprisingly. We are following, even though we are following the Belgian implementation, because URET is a company under Belgian legislation. Of course, the registrars are looking at us and hoping to give advice for more countries because we are operating in more countries. So this is one thing. And then in general, and I think this is common also to many European CCTLDs, is the sustainable financing and budgeting. A lot of us had to introduce increase of prices following the development of inflations in the last years, and it's not specifically for URET, but what I can see that many CCTLDs are looking at new ways to secure some income. Estonia introduced auctions. They inspired .cz, who introduced it this year, and I think sooner or later we will all have to have a look around and see where to focus.
In Lithuania, in .lt registry, we're also currently working a lot with policy making issues, or let's say not making issues, but tracking of policy changing issues, because from the 1st of May the new law came into effect, and now blocking instructions from authoritative authorities can be given to .lt registry also, and but still there is no actual governmental rules how it should be done in details. So we are not prepared in the registry to actually do this blocking if it will not fit into our current model. So, and most likely it will not fit because currently we're only accepting this domain name blocking from court, and it's mostly restricts disposal of a domain name or restricts disposal and usage of a domain name. So, and as I understand, most likely that this new law will go to the way what we will need to restrict use, but not restrict the disposition of a domain name. So domain name could be transferred, renewed, and so on, but it will not work while it's in this block list. So we will need to prepare and to change, of course, adopt our policy and to change our infrastructure, technical infrastructure to accept that, and to introduce registrars with new features, and maybe it will be even new status of a domain name, just to know what kind of blocking it is. So we are living with that. Also, I was invited to participate in this working group for the rules, which our government is now project, which is in production. And second thing, yes, it's NIS 2 directive. We are getting already requests from registrars what will be the changes maybe in the .lt registry, who will verify the domain name holders data, we or registrars, so that will be a hybrid approach, and so on and so on. So we are just answering about current situation and procedures that are in place, and we are saying what we are waiting for the law to be transposed into Lithuanian law, this directive, and it should be, as I understand, transposed till the middle of October, and then we will know for sure what we need to do, and we will decide with registrars maybe the model how it will be done. So I hear from Dušan from the ICANN meeting about this new GTLD application round in 2026, I think, yes? So I have a question for panelists. How do you treat it? Is it a threat? Is it a challenge or possibility for you?
You're asking me? Or?
I'm asking everyone.
So, sorry, you mentioned me.
Klaudijus.
I think, of course, there will be some additional integrations that needs to be done, but I think in the end, clients and users will benefit from it because we will have more options to choose from, and we are up for that. You know, we want to make sure that the clients are finding whatever we want on the domain space, and whatever name we could think of. And it's been more than 10 years now since the last round, so I think it's right about time to introduce more TLDs. And we look at this more of a opportunity and possibility, but mainly through customers' perspective that it will benefit them the most. This ability to choose from more options. So we are up for that, we are waiting for it, and we are monitoring the situation, what's going to happen.
I very agree with you in this sense, but in this perspective, it's of course challenge in this sense that we must prepare and be ready about that. and what to do. It's we do every day is kind of that we offer the better services all the times, and then that's why we simplify our procedures all the times. Not all the times, but very often. And nowadays, many registries are talking about quality of your zone. We are care about quality of zone already all our existence, let's say, yes, and we talk with Swedes, for example, that says that, oh, if we want to look too many things to do with this quality, then maybe its growths are not so high, and so on. But still we must offer the better services, and that's to be prepared about this next round. But clients are globally, and they are everywhere, and we know. And for this first round, we look in Estonian market. It was some 2 or 4% these new DLCs, and suddenly it's pop up to 10 or even 12%. It's mean that clients are fine these domains, and it's better for everybody, let's say. And we must prepare that we lose some our market share, of course, but still, yeah.
Thank you. And a disclaimer. I'll respond only in my capacity of the head of .lv registry, so make no mistakes here. I completely agree with my colleagues here. It definitely gives registrars more choice, because as we all know, at the end of the day, one of the main purposes of domain names is to translate numbers into something more human readable, and those new GTLDs will give more possibilities for human readable forms, like as you saw. In our case, .online is a very popular one. Recently, I saw in Flower Shop, it said, like in Latvian, flower.guru, which is a very creative use of those human readable domain names. But I also think it will empower registrars, because registrars will have the opportunity to choose which domains they will take on board, because at the end of the day, again, if a registrant comes to a website, unless they clearly know what they want, it's very difficult to find the extension you want that really serves the purpose. So probably we'll see more tools that would help with choosing the right top-level domain. And as I said, registrars could have some deals with registries and see which extension gets promoted and gets some real estate on the screens of their websites. As to CCs, I think it is not going to be easy because, again, completely agree with Heiki. All of a sudden, it seems that registrars started discovering those humanly readable extensions, and then why would we have 2 letters that mean Louis Vuitton or Las Vegas when we can have something that is meaningful and gives maybe more? It looks better. Let's put it that way. But again, I have to completely agree with Heiki. If we offer better services, if we work with our customer base, with people in the country, if again we can. Yesterday morning we talked about blockings and everything. Well, yes, consumer protection, state revenue service, if they request that some certain domain names in our CCs have to be taken down for whatever reason, we might not like it, but at the same time it makes our zones clear. So we know that somebody who is not supposed to give service, they are not available, and that would get back to Vaidota's survey. So that increase trust in your CCTLD, and well, probably yes, we will have to go with more trust, better services, and then we will win.
Win what?
I don't know, whatever.
If I can take from this, we will win. What is the battle? The battle is CCTLD against new GTLD. So that is the battle. In icon surroundings, you have new GTLDs which are totally under compliance program. So you have order which is supervised by icon staff, and all those, and colleague can confirm all those, because I think they hold also icon accreditation for as a registrar. It is totally in order, where a world where you have same regulations for every almost every new GTLD. On the other side, our heads as registrars are big as, I don't know, because of the different regulations that CCTLD world is promoting. So here and there you have, I don't know, in SEEDIG, let's say we have drop catching service, which is paid from the side of registrar, now promoting new change in rule set. Then we have auctions as also in SEEDIG and .ee. All those changes that CCTLDs very often promote, it is a headache for registrars, because registrars needs to adapt their systems to allow new features or new things, which is not the case in new GTLDs. So for registrars, it is totally simple to apply for new GTLDs and to offer that for customers. For customers, yes, customers are lost in thousands and thousands of new GTLDs, and it will be hard, and it will be a market where in the first years all of the registries with similar or will fight through marketing, PR, etc., fighting for registrars, fighting for sales. So it will be a huge amount of promotions after a new GTLD round. From my perspective, it is all win-win combination, because CCTLDs, they have their role. The role which is often explained that CCTLDs are not there for money. CCTLDs are national registry, therefore they are in monopoly because there is no other national registry. And if we are talking from that perspective, the best service, .rs and every single registry is enough for their role in their country. When we speak about battle, this is a market battle, which is contradictory to the claim that CCTLD is not just for the money. So in market share, in Europe you are fighting .com, as you saw in many surveys before on today. You are battling two major competitors, .com and .eu. Everything else is in traces. So for us in Serbia, we are not fighting.eu, so we are fighting.com, which is probably normal on the market when you are a user and you're acting as, I don't know, a company which should target audience with domain name, which is like if I am doing business locally, then I will use local national domain name. If I am doing business outside, I will use generic domain name .com or .eu, which means I'm targeting EU audience. So I'm kind of sure that many of new GTLDs will die, as it was in the first round. Some of them will have a success, and it will be on the benefit of the user. So I don't see the downside of new GTLD round. So everything is okay.
Difficult to add something, but I would also take it from the viewpoint of opportunity for basically all market players. For us as CCTLDs, it was with the first round as well, where we really did not know what to expect and were looking into what will come, how to keep our good relation and attention with the registrars. So in the end, I think it inspired us to some changes in account management, also in marketing, but we also quickly realized that it's not about, it's not like a fight or a battle, because we, based on the like what are the origins and background of CCTLDs, we cannot and don't want to compete with largely like aggressive marketing strategies of the new GTLDs, which seem also in long run not to be financially sustainable. So this is like out of question for us. So when I look back, we definitely introduced some new things or some innovations. We are even more or trying to be even more in touch with the registrars to build on the good relation. And as Katrīna said, that like who would choose something else than like a domain like flower.guru, which is really understandable, and you can remember it very well. But I think the answer is what we heard of in a Vaidush presentation, the trust, definitely. Because while flower guru might be very appealing, I am not sure about, I don't know, moneybank.guru, that already starts to sound a bit like a phishing attempt. So as long as we have states and territories, it will be the trust and first to go variant. And for the users, so far I think the most attractive or appealing is if it could bring the new round, if it could bring more users online, which I'm not 100% sure, but I think this is really worth looking into in combination with the mobile access and the new TLDs in local languages. If it has really potential to bring more people online, then I would be 100% for it. But I'm also not sure if there is some evidence for it, or clear evidence, or if it's just an assumption. Maybe would be worth looking into as well.
From my opinion, what is the benefit of CCTLD compared to GTLD is that we have the local market, and we have local law, local policy for customers. They're choosing, for my opinion, local CCTLD just to be sure that you always have local presence, let's say, of a registry, and you can go, if needed, to go to court if your rights are abused, and so you can fight for your domain. You can use your local language to find information about all the processes and everything else. So but I would see some kind of threat to CCTLDs if new GTLD, maybe geographic GTLD, would come in the same country. So then it will be same kind of protection, let's say, the same situated in the same country, but let's say for city TLD, I don't know, maybe .Vilnius or maybe .Kaunas. I think then maybe some of the people who are doing business local and maybe they are doing business even more how to say local, just only in Vilnius or in Kaunas and so on, and maybe they would in that case to jump from national TLD to city TLD because they would have, let's say, similar protection because of the law, and then maybe more the domain name more fitted to their business or activities. So, and yes, I agree that all new GTLDs for customers, it's a benefit, but from the users, not registrants, but users, all these new top-level domain names I think it's a mess, because even now to distinguish which is legitimate domain name and which is it could be phishing domain and so on, is very hard. And when you're receiving emails, all these phishing emails with interesting domain names, it will be for regular people harder to understand. Is it just a directory name, or is it a domain name? Is it top-level domain name or second-level domain name? So it's I think it's a bigger mess. Talking about security, and of course for some software developers, system developers who are filtering real domain names from not real domain names when checking for, let's say, email address and so on and so on. So it could be a problem. They need to include all this new list to the software for allowed TLDs, let's say, because usually sometimes they are using as some kind of protection.
Yeah, to put all these new TLDs in the blacklist.
Yes. Yeah. So.
Can you effectively sell something with .Vilnius in Kaunas, or successfully?
Maybe not, but speaking about national, that's a competitor for the national TLD. Yeah, it could become. Yeah. Okay, so I have one more question, which is double-sided. One question is like for the registrar, what are the criteria for registrar of choosing a new TLD, let's say, to become a registrar for some TLD, and maybe what would be the attractiveness of TLDs for you when you're choosing? Is it, I don't know, the population of the served countries? Is it the nice, I don't know, this combination of letters attractive, or some maybe restrictions and rules? And from the opposite side, from the registry perspective, do you see the current rules or accreditation process of yours is okay for you, or you are looking more for, let's say, to attract bigger registrars of customers, or you want to attract maybe smaller, and do you want to make stricter accreditation, just or maybe easier, more liberal to attract more of them? So it's, can we start from Klaudijus?
First part.
Yeah, so basically a few things. As you said, the CCTLDs, for example, with special requirements, is always disadvantage for us. I mean, we do not try to prioritize those TLDs if we don't see that if it's gonna pay back quick. I mean, if it's not, then we put it lower into our priority list. But basically, how we make the decisions which domains to introduce are based on data. We check our traffic, we check where the customers are coming from, we check their ccTLD levels or any other TLD, and also we monitor what customers are actually searching for within our domain search system, and we know exactly by the number how many searches were for example, .design, which we did not support, for example. So we monitor all that, and if we see that if there is a demand, we look for it, we source for it, we decide when if a demand is big enough to be directly accredited. If yes, then maybe when we look at the accreditation processes, if it's not that big, we might use a partner who is already accredited and use their accreditation and then buy from them. So, I mean, there are definitely different factors, but so I would say one is definitely we monitor demand. And there is also strategical approaches. For example, if we have, even if there is no currently demand, but we see there is a lot of potential in one or the other country, in order to be successful in one country or another, you must offer ccTLD of that country, you know, because then of course you get more trustability and more credibility if you offer it, especially and you give one first or second position within domain search, you know. So yeah, sometimes we make exceptions even if there is no existing demand for one TLD or another. But while entering new markets and making sure that we want to provide everything local, even payment methods and all of that, you know, of course we introduce the ccTLD there as well. But yeah, simply data decisions and strategic decisions.
Data-driven. Yes, in registry side, we are of course liberal, and we who knock in our doors, yes, we always look and say hello and welcome. But of course, always we have also some regulation and small burdens, and it's mean that we are not maybe welcoming or actively inviting these one-man companies or bands or whatever, and that's why we are satisfied with amount what registrars, and we are less registrars in Lithuania and Latvia, as I know, and we look. In Estonia, we have some 30 or something, yes, registrars, and it's very divided, and we have problem that we have might be the two very big ones, for example. But in foreign markets, we look where is our main markets, and we want that our strategy is that we want that we have at least two registrars in our biggest markets in where we have in foreign markets. And one thing what we do, periodically we look over our some kind of rules, how we attract or what is needed for accreditation, and that's why it's working, and we are satisfied at just now.
We're also very liberal. Anyone can start offering .lv domain names or just sign an agreement. Of course, we will have a set of questions that will need to be answered to make sure that the registrar is ready and willing to offer .lv domain names. Currently, we're reviewing the list of our registrars to see who have been there for several years and haven't done much, meaning haven't registered any domain names. So the number of our registrars will go down. It will go down, not significantly. There are not many of those who just applied but do not offer, do not have any real registrations. But we will. Yeah, but we are very liberal. We are very liberal, and as long as you are ready to register .lv. yeah, go on. We'll be happy to help any way we can. And actually, I didn't mention that. It's not that we just decided to end our contractual relations with those registrars that are not performing. We try to reach out to them and ask, is there anything we can do to help you? Do you need any materials? Do you have any questions? And only if they never got back to us, then we said, okay, tough luck, thank you.
So, two perspectives. I totally agree. If we are talking about registrars, I totally agree with you. Demand is something that we all search from data or one way or the other. If we have demand, then we will apply for accreditation. And the evil registrars in eyes of CCTLDs are doing everything for the money because they are private companies and they earn their salaries on the market which is open to everybody. On the other side, as a private company and as a same as we are normally searching just demand. If we have demand for certain .lv, we will apply, we will do everything according to the rule set and apply there. On the other side, I don't see why CCTLDs are searching as their own KPI big number of domain names to maintain the business, okay, but any number will do for automated system and EPP, etc. It's not that CCTLDs must have something. So CCTLDs are always saying come, open, etc., etc., but they are not always attractive to the customers, and they don't need to be attractive as a customers because they are national. So the audience of the target market is mostly local. I'm not talking about .me or such.co or such examples in CCTLD world which are building their strategy and promotion around new GTLDs. So imagine Montenegro.me have more domain names than citizens. So it is not example. But in regular CCTLD, KPI is not the number of domain names. KPI is to serve local community. KPI is to serve and securely serve with all those things national community. So there is always difference how you are measuring the success in CCTLDs and how you are measuring success in new GTLDs. For them, it is always a number of domain names, and this is the only KPI that they have. So all in all, registrars are doing by demand. CCTLDs doesn't need to open the market. So for example, .rs, which I represent, is not open for international registrars. We have 40 registrars inside the country, and we don't have the problem if GoDaddy is using one of our companies to buy a domain names as a reseller. As the colleague was mentioning, if there is no possibility in certain country to get accreditation, then find local registrar and solve the problem. So we are not missing GoDaddy, we are not missing others big players because they are all on our market through the registry through the registrar network that we have. So as .rs, we need to serve our local registrar, and we have once, twice, some years, maybe even 4 or 5 meetings with all of them. We organize even social events with them to speak about the problems and issues that they have on the market and how we can adjust something for them to successfully work on the market. Also, there are a lot of marketing promotions, etc., which we cooperate with them as a registry. So there is a program constantly open for every of those 40 local registrars to, let's say, to support them, sometimes 50-50, sometimes 60-40. It depends on the marketing activity that they suggest.
We are also very much open to new registrars. We have a standard accreditation process with some criteria. We have registrars all over the world. As you may have heard, we have restrictions when it comes to registrants. You have to have either residence or citizenship of EU or European Economic Area, but there is no such a restriction for registrars, so they can cover their customers whenever they are. What we have done in the last year is that we introduced a minimum turnover, which is relatively low compared to other CCTLDs who have such a measure. It's €500, and we did not lose a lot of registrar by this. And what we are also doing that we said to ourselves, we pay a lot of attention to knowing the customer in the sense of verification of registrant data, but we are a bit missing some of the registrars. So we are focusing now on this as well to do some registrar mapping and also to motivate registrars to keep data with us up to date, so that the moment we need to sign an addendum or there is some issue is not the moment when we realized that actually the official agent of a registrar is not the one which is in our database, but that we find it a bit earlier.
In .lt situation, we think that because the number of registrars are more or less the same for, I don't know, maybe 10 years, so it's 120 something, and it's almost all the time half local, half foreign. I think that our maybe accreditation requirements are quite balanced, and of course we are liberal. We have this, of course, organizational, financial, some requirements, technical requirement to demonstrate the ability to work with our registry system. But sometimes we see that some individuals thinking about becoming a registrar just for themselves, not to serve registrants, but to be like, I don't know, privileged registrant with the access to the registry as a registrar. So, and sometimes there are people who are, let's call them domainers maybe, or drop catchers, if someone is not familiar with drop catching, so it's when domain name becomes available after deletion. So these companies, people are just trying to register as fast as possible to be the first to get it, when it's like second market domain use. And in relation to that, I would like to ask you, what is your view on domainers? Are they desired part of the domain name industry? Let's say for registrars, do you support them, or make I don't know, bigger discounts or special I don't know, interfaces for them to do the domainers job, and for the registries also how you treat them.
So also I would like to circle back to the last question a bit and last topic, because I actually hear quite a lot of concern from CCTLD registries regarding the future, that, you know, you're limited. But yeah, I would really like to encourage you all to be more proactive in collaboration with the registrars, and because sometimes I feel not only, let's say, here with .lt we are accredited, but generally with CCTLDs that there is some sort like supplier-client relationship, whereas with GTLD, and even Dušan mentioned .me, it's like completely like you have built partnerships with GTLD registries. You think of various different pricing campaigns, marketing activities, and stuff like that. And I think, yeah, at least locally for all of our Baltic CCTLDs, there is definitely a lot of opportunities to sell more domains, to sell surname domain names, name domain names. But yeah, there has to be a little bit more proactivity and approaching the registrars more proactive, and you know, just ask, how can we improve this, how can we do that, you know, and I think there could be definitely some benefits of that, and yeah, that's just an encouragement. And regarding domainers, so we, let's say, as you saw from our slides, we almost 3 million clients and 5 million domain names. So you can imagine that our portfolio is very healthy, like up to 2 domains per client. So we are not very domain focused. And it was even difficult to buy several domain names in one cart, you know, for us until recently. But I mean, we see it as an additional integral part of domain industry. We might have different opinions about it. I mean, if you checked ICANN accreditation list, you can see some companies which have, let's say, 100, 200 accreditations, like Chinese, I don't know, maybe we are not Chinese, but some of them have like 200 accreditations, and we are catching all the domain names, you know, and then expect to earn, either sell it to the aftermarket, or even to the old owners of the domain names who forgot to renew it, you know, in time or something like that. So we encountered even a few situations like that as well, and we basically participated in helping to get the domains back for our clients. And I think, yeah, it really depends on the registries. Registries could regulate it in one way, like I think .eu sells aftermarket basically expired domain names, but until there is no like global approach, I think it's just integral part of the main industry, whether you like it or not. And I have some reservations for myself, but they've been there for quite some time, and I think, yeah, it's just part of it. But would I like to regulate them more, or I don't know, probably not, you know.
Yeah, we solve this problem, of course, to put the auction between, and we get and it's advice for everybody to consider how to fight with domainer, if you want to fight, of course. And our result was that before we get even tripled our domainers who now participating in auction. And it means that we may consider this as regular clients or loyal customers or whatever. Yes, and it's natural part of domain industry, but this auction, of course, give you possibility that you have proper look in society, that justice is here. You put your value, what you want to buy this domain, and no domainers are always winning in our auctions, and it's fair, and we are satisfied, and it's our advice to others also. If you want to get more domainers.
Thank you very much for your wise advice. We also have domainers, but we have more issues with drop catchers, domainers who are also drop catching expired domain names. So there are two things to that. I'll get back to domainers first. We used to have one domainer who at some point decided that he will register IDN domain names. And so he did that, and then he started sending out emails to the registrants of those Latin domain names, saying, "Oh, by the way, you could, for only 500 euros, you can buy this wonderful IDN, which would match the name of your company perfectly." And of course, those people were like, "Oh my God." Now I need IDN, right? So they did not need IDN before that, but now all of a sudden, for 500 euros, they thought, yes, we need to have them. Of course, we were not happy because we got and again, I got the same time's up message. Sorry. So we got the requests from companies that was, okay, I got this email, so what should we do? Okay, think if you really need that IDN. But some people then started registering IDN domain names, and as that domainer later said, I have done more to promoting IDNs in the country than anyone else, which was actually true. So the number of IDNs went up, and then it went down slightly. But yeah, that was really a very fun episode. But getting back to the second point about drop catchers, yes, as Dušan said, we are the national top-level domain, so we are closer to our local internet community, which is both a blessing and a curse. And in case of drop catching, it is a curse, because those people who lose their domain names, they don't believe that we have absolutely nothing to do with that. But if the dropped domain name is registered within 4 seconds, sometimes maybe even less, from the moment it was released. So I understand why they think that we are part of that scam. And actually, if we look at the cost per domain, in case of drop catching, the cost is much higher, because we have to deal with all those unhappy customers who send us letters, who ask for explanations, sometimes threaten us with court and things like that. So price of drop catching, both in terms of financial resources and image, is very, very high. So we definitely are not happy with drop catchers. Not sure that auction is an answer, but I know that. Of
course it is.
No, it is. No, it is an answer. I'm not sure it is the answer, but maybe it is. Yes.
We haven't this kind of problem anymore.
Yeah. No, Helmut. Thank you.
Can I ask .ee, what is the percentage of revenue from normal domain business and expiring auctions?
It's not very big, and I know that 10% of these deleted domains was going to auction, bought in auction, yes.
So 10% sell-through rate, basically.
Yeah.
So that's quite high.
It's quite high, yes, but...
Am I on the... So, domainers. Colleague from .ee was saying, in order to solve the problem, what is the problem with domainers? I don't see the problem. It is...
Drop catching is the problem, yeah?
No. Domainers. Let's start with that. Also, drop catching is not illegal activity according to your rules. Drop catching is something that 10 domainers are trying at one moment to catch that domain name, and they are bombarding your port with a number of queries, which is insane, and that is the problem for your infrastructure. Nothing illegal.
Of course.
So, domainers are not illegal. There is no problem with domainers. Every CCTLD have domainers. So, to clarify this, because I'm getting dizzy on solving the problems, because CCTLD makes the regulation. They make a grace period, 30, 45 days, some of them redemption period. And again, they are annoyed by domainers who are buying expired domain names. So where is the user in that? How you don't get the user to renew that domain name, not to sue you afterwards? That is from my point of view, it's a little bit of misunderstanding. You are creating the rules, and then you created the space for domainers and drop catchers to play, and then you don't like that. So
Dušan,
change the rules.
Dušan, it takes some hours, and we may discuss, of course, that.
Yeah. No. It's okay. You're doing auctions. SEEDIG is doing money for drop catching queries, which is also something. This is rules that SEEDIG was doing for drop to monetize drop catching in a sense. So you are the ones who are creating the rules, and nothing is done illegally. CCTLDs are having in every single open CCTLD, you have domainers.
Yeah. Yes.
And they are building your number of domain names. So we as registrars, as I said previously, we are evil registrars here, private companies catching for the money. We are maintaining domainers to be open. So yes, we have domainers. We are very keen when somebody registers 500 domain names in 5 minutes. Who cares? It is okay. It is according to the rules. What is the problem? So there is no problem. There is some issues that you are trying to solve with infrastructure on drop catching, or to be more clear to your local society. And the real problem is that your society doesn't know your rules and regulations, and you didn't educate them well, and therefore they are suing you in some, and happening to us in .rs also. So, it is lack of education of your community about rules and regulations.
Which we can do together with registrars.
Yes.
Dušan, we are extremely happy for you if you register 500 domain names as a registrar. And this is what we welcome, but we have even more, even better.
So
Register
domainers,
2000 today of .eu.
Domainers treat their portfolio as a house, as a car, as a property.
Yeah.
That's their sense of, so they are buying in tons.
Yeah. So what I wanted to say, we are absolutely happy for ourselves and for our registrars if they register domains in bulk. We have a regulation that an accredited registrar has to offer registration services to the clients. So we do not welcome domainers as accredited registrars. This is basically not possible because the registrar can have only a limited number of domains, like for his own use, like for infrastructure purposes and so on. So this is solved in our rules. Of course, drop catching is an issue. As was mentioned, it's demanding on infrastructure. That's also why we used to have a 24-hour rule that the domain could not be re-registered. this was cancelled. Some registries, including, for example, AFNIC, they are trying to find a solution that you have a one server which is like available, but the number of queries is limited. When you have a paid server where you can do whatever you want to. So it's a like different take to drop catchers, and I think they are measures to do it. But education to registrants, it's definitely the way, not only on like keeping the data in order, keeping own contact data, renewing on time, but also the brand protection. And this is why we do not also consider ourselves as in battle with other CCTLDs, because we rather do like this awareness that like a good online branding requires more TLDs for the company.
Just to add to your the specific rule that I was targeting on how many years I can register .eu. Top. So I'm registering a domain name for how many years? 1 to 5 or 1 to 10?
So what is the maximum?
What is the maximum?
10 years.
10 years. 10 years, 10 years, 10 years. So if some user wants to be sure that they will buy for 10 years.
But
that is also something for
but
education.
also the registrar has to cooperate, because we have, first of all, we have 10 years. Secondly, we have automatic renewal. But the common practice of registrars is that they put a delete to the prepaid period. So if a registrar sells the domain for 1 year, they do not wait for the payment to come to renew it, but they remove delete. So we have also... Yeah, it's like
and we as registrar, we have automated.
Registrars are really keen to make sure that the clients renew, because from renewals, you know, we earn money. And I think in ICANN agreement we have that we have to send at least one mandatory reminder or two. But I think in reality, as a registrar, we send like 10 reminders for clients to renew the domain name. And I'm not sure if we have in our accreditation agreement like...
Let's stick to 4 or 5 at least.
Yeah,
4 or 5.
Yeah, but I mean, I just want to say that we send more as a registrar without any rules. But yeah, maybe one could go from the registry, you know, to the registrant, you know. So.
No, so okay, I will finalize this question shortly, and I think that from our perspective, yes, domainers are the natural part of domain ecosystem. So and it's just a matter about drop catchers or not, how these released domain names, how to say, distributed. For drop catching, it's a technical thing or perspective. For auctioning, it's financial maybe perspective. If you have more money, so you will get it. So maybe it's different methods. So and it depends. For registry, maybe it's for registry's technical part. It's easier if you move it to financial part. But maybe when we are making it active for technical with participation and compete them one with other, we are increasing the technical capabilities of our registrars. We are studying in deep how to achieve all these milliseconds faster than the competitors, because in our case, yeah, it's a matter of milliseconds, not even seconds. So I think to that question, I want to thank you all participants and for discussion, for very good insights, and all these your opinions. And yeah, if we have some questions, please.
My apologies, a very short question.
Yes.
There is a trend coming, like a huge wave with huge communities, Web3. Many hate it, but do you, especially Baltic and Serbians, do you consider at least doing some protective registrations of your CCs on blockchain, at least on the protective side? I have 5% of 2-letter LV domain names, and I would love to secure them personally as well. Thank you. Just a short question.
I'm not sure that I get your answer, but we are the registry lock, for example. You may lock your domains, and that it's help. But if you consider the blockchains some perspective, then of course we're closely looking all the trends what in the technical fields are creating and what use we take this for the domain registration. But in the last part of the, I may discuss with Dušan a long time, I think, but we have technical part and financial part, but we have the different internet societies also in our countries. And if there are some demands and they have strong opinions, then we must, of course, address these opinions also. Thank you.
For Serbia, we are observing what is happening on the market. Blockchain is starting since 10 or 15 years ago and still not come into domain world. So yes, we are observing and we will do accordingly and secure our zones, etc. when it comes.
When somebody actually pays OSR registers on Ethereum network?
No, it is when it comes, I will tell you, it is IETF.
Yes,
So when IETF said it is a standard, then we will apply the standard. Until then, all of those stories about blockchain didn't came into domain world.
Yeah. Katrīna, you are the final word. Sure.
Thank you. Yes, of course we also follow all the trends, but blockchain domains are not high on our priority list at the moment. And one thing I will tell you that if somebody starts registering CCs and country names on any blockchains, that will be the end of it, because all governments will unleash all their fury on that, and that will be the end of it. So, thank you.
Yeah, we were not considering also at the moment, so and we are waiting for official, let's say, approval of IETF or other standards. So it's not like not to use this like yes, someone told American way of business, just moving, pushing something, and doing business, and only then constructing their rules and so on. So we are not in favor of that approach.
Also no concrete plans.
Yeah. Okay, so now it's thank you once again, everyone, and now it's lunchtime.